Just like, will it work? Will it not work?
Yeah.
Does the live work? Does it not work? Like, that's just the
Yeah.
fun of technology.
And I'm turning my phone off, but I just might have to check it when that mare gets to the vet.
Yeah. Yeah, you've had a busy morning before we went live. You've had a busy morning of vet emergencies. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's you know what? I should probably, is that light reflection bugging you or no?
No,
Okay.
nothing's
Yeah,
bugging
I'll
me.
just chill out then.
Yeah, we're good.
I could use a little simmer.
We're live. We're just having coffee. Everything is good in the world, and your horse is going to be good. And yeah, it's
I
one
hope
of
so.
those weeks, though. I don't know. I don't know about you, but like it's
Immune thing.
Wednesday, and it feels like it should be 2 Fridays from now. Like it's so
Mm-mm.
crazy this week.
No, it really doesn't. No, it feels like it should be 2 Fridays ago.
Go. You're
But
like,
then
it's going
I
too
think we
fast.
were doing Banff then, weren't we? Like, I don't
Yeah,
even know when that was. So
time.
I was so glad you could be there, though. Thank you for coming. You were a
Oh,
huge, huge asset.
it was so fun to be there. So yeah, welcome to Virtual Coffee Club, friends. I want to introduce you to Sam Mitchell. She is what everyone tells me is the brains behind the operation of Skijor Canada, but I think you're like even more than just the brains. You're so creative and exciting and fun, and you bring like a really cool energy wherever you go. So I think no matter what you did, people want to be a part of what you do. And so I'm so excited that we could squeeze you in your crazy schedule to have a coffee with us this morning.
Well, thank you, Jody. I mean, you've been amazing about promoting the event and spreading awareness and just being excited about it, which is what I love, right? Is like for me, this is just a way to get all my friends to do crazy stuff with me and then invite, like, I always think if we've got something fun, if we've got something good, how can we share it? How can we make it more accessible? And I think that's the great thing about this sport is it's so accessible and there's kind of something for everybody. And so sharing it is really fun for me. So thanks for the opportunity.
Well, and I think that, like, I think of growing up because I grew up on a farm in
Mhm.
southern Alberta, and we would obviously, you would pull sleighs with horses, and you would even sometimes have your sled behind your horse, and that's probably as crazy as we ever got. But I think the skiing behind horseback probably just started with like you guys just having some fun in your yard, and then it's turned into something bigger. Is that sort of where it begins, or how did you even start doing this?
Well, how it started for me is, so my mom lived in Switzerland for 15 years. She married a Swiss man who was a lovely, lovely man, and he was a captain for Swiss Air. So I got to fly from 16 to 23 on an ID-90, which was
Yeah.
amazing.
Amazing.
And then I just got too old. I'm too old for so much now. It's really annoying.
Impressive.
And he was also a ski instructor. So, we spent a lot of time, and, it sounds really posh, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like skiing over there is a very family event. It's very accessible, kind of everybody goes. And I really loved that whole après ski vibe, where there's groovy tunes at the top of the mountain and people are sitting around drinking shumley flumleys and on sheepskins and maybe having a little dance, and they're eating some rosti and some fondue. And I mean, the Swiss are very particular about their fondue. Like there's a way to stir it in a figure-8 pattern. And so when and then I actually ended up living in Switzerland later I was there for the winters and here for the summers working. And when I moved home full time, it was always kind of this pull on the weekends, like, do we stay home and ride or do we go to the mountains?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about it one day and I was like, this is all the same crew, like who are making this decision every weekend. So why don't we do both? And so SkijorDUE started as an opportunity to combine skijoring and fondooing. And the first time that I did it, it was a private party. It was over at the Calgary Polo Club. I think I invited 12 people. The entry fee was cheese. You had to bring a hunk of cheese, and we just put it all in crock pots and did like not legit fondue, but still yummy.
Still just melted cheese, which is
Yeah,
beautiful.
still just melted cheese and booze. So like how wrong can you go with that?
Yeah.
And I think 65 people showed up. Like a bunch of people just were like, hey, this is fun. We want to do it. And I honestly thought that we would be trotting around, picking up falling over people. And I thought it would just be like a little, play day. And we ran heats of, 6 or 8 horses abreast because so many people showed up. And I maxed out my 2 fastest horses in the first 2 heats.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there is some serious talent here.
Mhm.
And so it kind of just really surprised me, like how good it was, how tight it was, and how much fun people had. So the following year, we set it up as a benefit for Prairie Skies Equine Assisted Therapy, and they were great in supporting with volunteers, and we did it at the Polo Club again, and the Polo Club has been a wonderful home for us over the years. I have a long time relationship with them. And the ground is good, right?
Yeah.
So I love that because I can with full confidence go full bore and know that that ground is good, which is
Yeah.
important. So we thought maybe like 150 people would come, and 800 people showed up. And we were like, huh. So we got absolutely slammed, and all our volunteers were amazing. You know, they were like, there was a line down the road. We had people running out to tell people where to park. We had everybody just like bring more cheese, um,
Bring more cheese.
bring more cheese and bring more coffee. Um, I had enough alcohol because I'm kind of like
Yeah.
that. Um, and so it's just grown from there. And last year, well, when I say last year, I mean 2020. We were at Millerville, which is another great facility, and we have continued to work with Prairie Skies. So we've raised, I think, over 25,000 for them in the 4 years we've been running, and we donated to the arena rebuild project at Millerville in 2020, and the stands were packed. Like it was nuts.
Yeah.
Um, and
Just
I
such a
actually,
good day. Yeah.
yeah. So, and then we kind of, I was working with Sally Bishop on the first one we went public with,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Hey, Sally, you're a Roman rider. Like, do you think you could Roman ride and tow a skier behind each horse?" She's like, "Yeah, I can do that." Because Sally's like mental, right? Love it.
She'll do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, she's crazy, in the best possible way. And so I said, "Well, do you think you could tow those guys over a jump?" And she said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "All right, let's set that up." And she said, "Well, if they're gonna jump, I should probably jump." I'm like, "You can do that?" So we have Sally Bishop, like, standing 1 foot on each horse, galloping over a jump, towing 2 skiers
Yeah.
over a jump, but it was just nuts, and we just kind of
Yeah.
crescendoed, you know? Um, and I think that, the formative thing for me on that first year that we went public, because I called in all my favors. I
Yeah.
called everybody I knew in the horse world and said, "I need you and your 3 fastest horses." And then I paired them up with ski cross racers. So, these 19 and 20-year-old slope stars were coming out to ride with, Tom Erickson and Jim Kelts and Peter Buse. And all these guys were really suspicious of each other. Like,
Yeah.
the ski guys were like, "Oh, I hope these guys can go fast enough." And the horse guys were like, "Oh, I hope these guys can hang on." And we sent them out on their first run, and they all came back just grinning. And some of those guys are still teams,
Yeah.
And I think that there was such a mutual appreciation for quality, for skill set, for being an adrenaline junkie, and we kind of realized like I like to say we're all the same kind of crazy. We
Yeah.
just do different stuff. So that's like the most fun thing about it for me is just the people that you can bring together who normally don't probably intersect or
Yeah.
don't intersect with an activity, and you kind of unite everybody in doing this thing and enjoying this thing.
Yeah. Well, and I
Like it,
think the thing that was really fascinating about that I loved watching being in Banff a few weeks ago was that you're introducing two things to, a group of people who maybe you're here on vacation from somewhere that one are just still mesmerized by our mountains, but the fact to see horses doing this really cool work and right down Banff Avenue, like watching the face of the crowd was like my most favorite part
yeah, it's
because they're
so
just
inspiring.
gobsmacked by what
Mhm.
was happening in front of them.
Which is exactly, thanks for picking up on that because I think I'm an artist as well, and I like to cook, and I like to put stuff together and create stuff, and I think everything that we create generates with a feeling, right? So what do you want to convey? And that's what I want to convey with this thing is I just want people to be going like, "What? Like what's happening? How did I not know this existed?
Yeah,
How have I not been here before?
yeah,
How can I get more of it?"
yeah.
And that's, so we have big plans.
Big, yeah, it's really good. So on February 25th is when SkijorDUE happens. So if you were at Banff or you've seen some of the pictures that we've shared from Banff, it's got the same concepts of that there's skiers and riders and crazy fun, but we're bringing in your love of fondue and all kinds of crazy drinks and things too. Like it's going to be like a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's really fun to have the food and bev aspect of it because that's a big part of it for me. So, Burgert's Butchers does our bratwurst, and he's like a meat artist, Ryan
Yeah,
is. He's
he really
amazing. So
is. Yeah.
when we first went to him, um, he made me 4 different bratwursts at different granularities, like different grinds, because the Europeans tend to like theirs very smooth, and North Americans tend to like a little more of like a chunky meat texture. And I love that he just gets that. So Mike Edgar is and he's Elma Street Culinary Collective. He's our fondue master. And one of the challenges with fondue when it's cold is keeping it warm in single servings, right? Because
Yeah.
you can't have those pots everywhere. We've had 2 years to figure out that, or to work on that challenge. And what we've invented is new fondue, which is it's like a little empanada, actually. It's like,
Yeah.
or a big pierogi, if you will, but it's gluten-free and it's filled with fondue cheese and it's deep fried and it is transcendent. It is next level, and they stay nice and warm. So that's our new introduction this year, and we're really stoked about it. And the community that comes together to build this thing and enjoy it is so much fun.
Yeah.
As a horse person and a trainer, I set up the events because if you're running a straight shot, the person on the fastest horse is going to win it as long as their skier can stand up. So, we have 4 events. The circuit race is a curved track. It's got obstacles that you've got to navigate. So the horse has to do a little bit of pole bending and maneuverability and rate. The skier has to get rings, like go up a berm. And that one's all about like, how rideable is your horse? Do you steer both ways? Can you pass it and then brake? How's your horse going to handle seeing those obstacles? And then we have a relay, which is a handoff from slider A to slider B. And we're changing the relay this year. We're taking the rollback out of it and making it a straight shot because it gets a little hairy on that. I talked Charles Mannix into skiing for the first time we ran the relay, and he said he's never been more terrified in his life than standing there on skis with 10 horses just galloping
right at him.
He was like, he handled it, but he's like, I don't think we need to do that.
I don't think my heart wants to do that 2 times. Well, and I feel like in Millerville, you also had the really fun portion. I don't know if you'll be doing that at the Calgary Polo Club or not, but the one where like basically people are sitting on sofas that are being
Oh, the Alpine Lounge Race.
That was so crazy.
So I'm quite strict about the titling of that because it is not a sofa, it is a lounge. You have to pull a couch, minimum love seat size, a coffee table, and a lamp. And you can have whatever accoutrement on there you like, but you have to finish with what you start. So there's 2 horses pulling and 2 passengers in your lounge. And I actually had to diagram this for insurance, and I was like,
you're like, just to prove this, I promise I'm not.
Well, no, and I'm like, full disclosure, because if you're not going to insure me for this, I'm not going to do it. And that's invitational. It's for our sponsors. And the reason that came about is I was actually sitting on this couch thinking about a sponsor who really wanted to be involved, but didn't ski and didn't ride.
Yeah.
I was like, and I haven't had a TV for 20 years. And so I just sit around and think up weird stuff to do. And I was like, well, what if we put this thing on skis? And so that's how the lounge race was born. And and so what we do is we Calcutta the teams. We'll probably have 4 teams, and we auction them off to the crowd. And then the buyer of the winning team gets half the pot, and Prairie Skies Equine Assisted Therapy gets the other half.
The other half. No,
so
I love it.
It's really pretty nice.
And then I think the other element that we really that you see every time, especially in photos and the fun, is the fashion piece that goes along with it. And so there's so much there's so much fun in just being able to wear whatever you want and as much
Yes.
fur or old ski suits or whatever
Yeah.
you want, just to have fun with being like a character for the day.
I really love how that's caught on. And, you know, we've got vintage stores doing pre-Skijor, like Skijor style sales. You can't, like Hudson's Bay coats have tripled or quadrupled in value in the last 4 years. You can't get those shearling coats, those kind of Marlboro Man coats at Value Village anymore. Cause I love Value Village. That is my
Yeah.
go-to. And it's really fun to see people combine it. And I love that bounce, right? Like I love the woolly chaps and the super techie goggles and the spandex and the fringe. And I just think it's such a great juxtaposition. And I've always thrown costume parties, you know, like we for Halloween or for, you know, I have a disco fondue party for New Year's Eve, and I have a Romans and Christians party on Easter weekend. And I think people love to dress up. They don't necessarily want to be the only one.
Yeah.
And I think it's a chance to maybe explore your alter ego a little bit and just have, and that's the great thing about the cheese aspect with SkijorDUE is, I mean, you can't take it that seriously when it's all about cheese.
when the whole thing revolves around the amount of cheese. I know.
Yeah, I mean,
it combines all my favorite things. Yeah.
The slogan is eat cheese, go fast.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to get X-Lax to sponsor it because I think that's
Yikes. Don't put that in the fondue by accident, especially if everybody's in chaps and things.
Well, it might be a nice balance, actually. Just have it offered.
Put it in mine. Yeah.
We'll just have like a free samples.
Yeah, exactly. So wild. So can people buy tickets for the February 25th event now?
Absolutely. Early bird tickets are on sale for $20. They're going to go up the week before the event. They'll probably go up to $30. Competitor registration is open, and that's by team. It's all on SkijorCanada.com. We're working with ShowPass this year to sell our tickets. We're capped at 5,000. And I suspect we had close to that in Millerville in 2020. It was nuts. Yeah, we're running Square this year. We're going to try to run cashless. We've got a really good internet, and it just kind of keeps our whole focus this year is production and customer experience. So we got slammed in Millerville. Like so many people came, the lineups were crazy, and everybody was so cheerful and accommodating and really forgiving. And I don't want them to have to do that again. I want everybody to have a bratwurst and a new fondue in hand and a beer or champagne or whatever they want, and to be able to watch the show. So we're running big screens, so we can do slow-mo instant replays. And the really big touch this year is we've got RFID tag systems for the teams. So we have a geo start and finish, which gives us really accurate timing. And it feeds the team information into a back end, which generates graphics for a leaderboard. So yeah, that's
good. Yeah.
Top shelf.
It's going to be awesome. All right. $20. Like that's a steal of a deal to come for an event like this. Like, oh my goodness.
It's free. It's family friendly. We always say to people, like, bring a blanket or a pillow or a sheepskin because it gets cold sitting on those berms or on those bleachers. And bring us your crazy. Because we have spectator style competition, right?
I feel like too, we need to, because there's been this crazy wind I was talking to you about off the air that's caused havoc in my head, but it's taking away the snow. So we need people to do a snow dance over the next few days.
That's another thing we're going to start on Instagram. Show us your snow dance. I have a magic sweater. It's too early to put it on, but I put it on in Thursday in Banff, and so sorry about the traffic that weekend. That was on me. The power of the sweater is strong. And we actually sent a couple of big machines over last week and banked a bunch of snow because I have acute snow stress this time of year. But yeah, we're going to be fine. We're going to be grand.
It's going to be good. All right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for hanging out and talking SkijorDUE with us and all of the fun. And I hope that people, if you're in the Calgary area, go to SkijorCanada.com and grab your tickets. February 25th, we're going to be at the Calgary Polo Club, and we're just going to have so much fun. I'm excited to be the soundtrack person of the day. And so gathering some fun music And
Absolutely. It's a dance party.
yeah.
And, you know, for people who haven't seen it, we've got great videos on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Like, have a look, see what's out there, and dress up, because Cody and Sue, judges, are going to be in the stands. They're going to be looking for Skijor style, and we've got some rad prizes.
Yeah. I got to up my fashion game for this one. That
Oh,
I
come to
know.
me. I have a
So we
huge
need to
sticker
go
hunt.
shopping.
Nope, just come to me.
Okay.
My whole loft is full of Skijor style.
Okay, perfect.
Your core crew. You
Okay.
get good.
All right. I'm coming to see you then. So that's
All
going to
right.
be even more fun. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank
And
you.
we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you so much for having me. See you soon, Jody.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day. And we hope to see you at Skijor's, what would I, now the name of it just went.
Skijor Canada's
SkijorDUE
SkijorDUE.
on
Yeah.
the
Do
25th.
the
That's what I was trying
do.
to say. Now I'm like, I just want to go eat some cheese. I'm not going to lie.
I can help you with that.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.